Everybody good? All right, so having a chance to kind of get away for a little bit as players and coaches, I think time off can be good for a number of different reasons. So I had some time to relax with the family. Wife and kids are in town, so that's always great. Always hard to see them leave. But also, I think the reflection of what has transpired, and I'll be honest, as myself, have a tendency to torment myself when I have too much time. And kind of talking about what I said after the game as far as how it played out. Asked that all three phases be at their best at the same time. I thought defense played their butts off, gave us plenty of opportunities. I thought special teams as well did a really good job as far as the field position battle, plus also making some timely plays. And obviously the frustration from an offensive standpoint, again, if we continue to not starting effectively to start the game, but also miss opportunities, and not being able to finish at the end is irritating. But I do also, as I think about like the last couple years of my career, but also just life in general, just reflect on difficulties and how much I've thankfully learned and grown to appreciate difficult moments. I think the reality is that one, you never figure out who you really are until you go through difficult moments. People talk about courage and mental toughness until you have to actually deal with something that's going to be mentally taxing to you or put stress and strain on your body. But also just the process towards becoming who you are as an individual, but also in a program as well, which I know we live in a instant gratification generation and also world. From a sports standpoint, we expect and we want stuff to be fixed right now, and I get that. But that's not how stuff actually gets fixed. Our problems get solved, and so I do appreciate the opportunity to sharpen myself through difficult moments. That's helped make uh, the person I am and continue to become. Oftentimes, I always say successes in my life have been awesome. They've not made me who I am. The difficult moments and shortcomings have. But it's also a reminder to all of us that in a couple weeks, or even really this week, going to make a lot of notions about what you're going to do in the new year. And don't quit it in 2 weeks because it becomes difficult, which happens most times. It's because you expect to see immediate results. And the reason why people don't reach their goals oftentimes is because they just quit before you have an opportunity to actually let it materialize. And you allow the outside world, outside noise to convince you that you should continue to pursue greatness or be at your best. And so that is always a constant motivator for myself, but also for everybody else too. So you talk about what you want to do and what you want to achieve. 'Cause nobody cares what you want in life. Life gives you what you earn and what you work for. And so we're back at work, excited for the opportunity, ready to roll. Questions?
Thomas, when it comes to the sack total, understanding there's a lot of moving parts to that, but when you sort of dial in with Caleb on where he can be better in that regard, what would you pinpoint in terms of his ability to bring that total down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, shared accountability. I think obviously when people just see sacks, they just think about the offensive line in general, which is also just a misunderstanding of how football works and not watching football games. Obviously, talked to him this morning in particular, like I do many mornings, about how to improve, how to become better, and the understanding of the rhythm and timing in the passing game, how to have more accountability from a pre-snap standpoint of diagnosing potential issues, pressures, and also kind of being able to anticipate some stuff from a post-snap standpoint. But we got to do a better job of protecting him as well at times, but also him being able to understand how to get the progression a little bit quicker, seeing some post-snap reads, but also, as I mentioned before, the more you can stay balanced, remain balanced from an offensive standpoint, the more you alleviate true drop back opportunities.
You took time and you were reflecting and kind of trying to have some perspective on this run that you've had as interim coach and how that fits into your career aspirations and things like that, and your frustrations probably, I assume, with being 0-4 in this. What were your kind of deeper level thoughts about this opportunity and how it's gone?
Yeah, I'm never frustrated by the future because it hasn't happened yet. And all I know is I just care about where my feet are and being present and how I attack the moment. Obviously frustrated by the work you put in and not being able to get the result. That's obviously always going to be frustrated. That will never change. So just my mother and my father remind me often of how difficult I was to be around when I was a player because of not getting results. So I've changed somewhat as a coach, but probably not a whole lot. So that would never change. But I think When it comes to those aspirations that I have from a personal goal standpoint, I'm more confident than ever about the eventual result, which, that'll come at some point when it comes, whenever that's played out for me. I just focus more about just the opportunity. Obviously, understanding when I accepted the role of you don't have an interim tag if everything is phenomenal. So there's an interim, because there's difficulties. There's a reason for change, at least in the eyes of ownership. So I knew what I was walking into, and don't flinch. Still not going to flinch. Not going to back down from my opportunity to continue to grow in battle, regardless of the result. So the future takes care of itself by what you do every single day. So I focus more on that. I mentioned before, even just off of how last year transpired. No one would have bet that I'd be in this position a year from that. So I don't worry about that one bit. Whenever it's done, when it's over it, I'll walk away with 100% confidence as far as the approach, the growth opportunities, and whatever happens next.
Thomas, go ahead, Paz.
With nothing at stake in the standings, and with Caleb possibly being in an offense that he won't be in next year, was there any consideration given by you or Ryan Poles or Kevin Warren to sitting Caleb this week?
Yeah, so when you say nothing at stake, so
Standings.
there's a game that's going to be played. So at stake as far as competing and winning a football game, which I think is different from maybe the outside world's perspective. There's always an opportunity at stake to go compete and be at your best. So I wouldn't agree with you as far as nothing at stake. Obviously, we're not going to the playoffs. I guess it's more of your thought process behind it. But as far as Caleb goes, as far as dialogue about him not playing, that's never come up or been talked about at all. Obviously, part of the overall evolution of him being his best, to try to continue to find ways to help him continue to grow and be at his best week in and week out. And part of it's going to be able to learn to protect himself and also be better around him from a protection standpoint. But there was no thought into that for myself or communication with Ryan, because there's an opportunity that's not guaranteed. And I take it very seriously because opportunities aren't guaranteed. And one thing I hate more than anything is wasted time. Because when time is gone, you don't get it back. So I'm going to maximize every moment I have. And so to be the same thought process as far as this team and this game on Sunday.
So every healthy veteran's going to play.
Yes.
Thomas, Chris Beatty mentioned last week that Caleb has shown a heightened eagerness to learn. He's still learning how to learn in the NFL, learning how to study, learning how to prepare, learning how to get himself on that growth track. What recommendations would you have for him going forward in his career to kind of get himself on a productive path?
Yeah, start small and then grow from there. I think oftentimes we want to consume information. We want to get all of it right now at one time, which that's not realistic as far as how learning goes. So I think from a basic standpoint of the process of how you call it play, to pre-snap operation, to motion time and motion adjustments, to master everything from that detail before you even worry about specific plays and how concepts come to life, before you worry about alert or kill criteria, before you worry about how to attack multiple coverages. It's the operational piece of slowing that process down so I can operate faster and not a huddle. And to me, I think it's about the understanding of how defenses work. So understanding what issues come with nickel defense, base defense, Bronco defense, down personnel on the grass, and obviously why we have certain calls for certain different looks. I think being able to continue to start really, really small and different. If I was trying to start a new language, I'm going to pick up the book where it's already in French. And I'm trying to learn that as a second language. I would start with the very basics and how to say basic words, how to transfer certain language barriers, and be able to build from there. To me, from his standpoint, not just him, but everybody in general, is being able to start small and then build from there. Thank you. Have a great day.